one world currency.
A new world order.
Those are the roots of trouble.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. But I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
And now, welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. Here's your host from federaljack.com. It's Popeye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's live edition. It is April 13th, 2012. Yes, April 13th. And it is a Friday. That means it's Friday the 13th. I'm sure somebody's having a bad day somewhere and blaming it on this. I saw a lot of that actually today. I saw a lot of car accidents today because people couldn't drive in the rain. And I know of at least one person that did blame the day for it rather than their own stupidity of slamming on the brakes because it started raining. Because that would be, it's more convenient to blame other things. But I don't want to digress. Anyway, welcome to the show. Yes, I'm back. I hope you all enjoyed the special broadcast I put together for Wednesday while I was speaking up at FAU. And I had a really great time up there. It was cool. There was about, I think, 15 people in the class. It's a night school class. And the age range was awesome. It was from 19 to the oldest lady. I think she was in her mid-60s. And everybody was pretty much awake. It was really cool. I don't have the audio ready yet because I just haven't had a chance to pull the video even off the camera yet and even look at it. I've been so busy. But I'll play it for you guys sometime next week, probably next week Friday, only because the next couple days are going to be super, super busy. Tonight's show, like I said, I just haven't pulled it off yet. And I got my buddy, my good friend and fellow host from the network here on with me, Mr. Joe Joseph. Joe, say hello.
Hello.
So we got a busy day, tonight planned. And Sunday is the 100-year anniversary of the Titanic. Steve Stars is coming on. We're going to be blowing your mind with some new information and stuff that we've found since last year.
I love Steve, man.
Yeah, Steve rocks.
Steve is a good guy and a fantastic researcher. So, I mean, he knows his stuff.
Yes, he does. He knows. One of his specialties is the Jesuits and their connections to many different things. And then it was funny because Steve and I kind of looked into the Titanic thing separately. And then last year we had randomly just decided to do the show about it. And within like 2 weeks of, researching together and working like as a team, we had already uncovered a lot of stuff on our own, but working together, we were just way more efficient. And that's when it really spawned me and Steve doing a lot of these shows where we try to take historical events and put them into the true context of things so people can understand how everything connects to one another. So we're doing that on Sunday. And And then next week, Wednesday, I got James Lane and Holland Van den Nieuwenhof coming back on because Thursday is the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. So Wednesday, they're going to be coming on and talking about street actions that they have planned, things like that, upcoming events. We'll go over the movie itself, evidence and stuff. So they're going to be on for 2 hours. So I have just a super jammed week for you guys. So I won't be able to play the audio from the college thing until probably like next Friday. But I will get it for you. And also, I finished editing my final interview with Judith that I did right before Christmas of 2011. It was over 6 hours, so I had to, edit it down and then cut it up so I could give it to Jimmy when we're going to air it and stuff. Hopefully, the second week of May, I'm going to air that for you. So it'll be, I think, a full 3 episodes it's going to take to air the entire thing, Joe. It's so long.
Well, I remember that vividly because I was like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?"
We had to do a podcast that night, and you were waiting for me, and you kept hitting me up like every hour, dude. Are you still? And I was like,
"Yeah, man, almost. I'm almost done. Yeah, we got about 5 more minutes. Yeah, 5 hours later."
It was a great interview. Longest one she ever did. So that'll be coming out too. So I've just been super busy. That's why I have not had a chance to pull the audio. But the class was cool. They were all very smart. Everybody there really wanted to. Everybody they wanted to learn, and I got to tell you what, their professor, I got to give him credit, James Tracy. Jim's a hell of a guy because I've never met a college professor that would put his ass on the line for actually creating a course called conspiracy, or I think it's called The Culture of Conspiracy.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
And it's all, dude, he screens A Noble Lie, all these movies. He had the class before he did this one, he had I think it was like 6 months ago, he had a different class, and that spawned into what this class that he created, and it's already on the schedule for next semester. But he had Michael Murphy from What in the World Are They Spraying come down. Mike's been on my show numerous times, and that's actually when I got a chance to meet Mike in person for the first time, and Jim brought him down. And there's actually, the college has a certain amount of money that they can put forward to fly the person out and bring them down. And he's trying to look into doing that next semester with the guys from A Noble Lie. And I've never seen a professor do this. I'm just blown away by this guy. So I want to give him credit where credit is due. I know he listens to the archives when he can. He listens to the show live. I want to give him credit where credit is due. Professor James Tracy over at FAU, you are like the teacher of the year, okay? This guy is just awesome. And he's doing his best to try to wake people up, and he turned it into a class. Now, it's not a major. It's a, what do you call it?
It's an elective, right?
Yeah, an elective.
Yeah.
But
now, how many people were in the class?
Like I said, I think it was like about 19 people, like 15 or 19 people, I think, total, something like that.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and look at the video and count the heads. But there was, it was for a night class, a class that, goes from it's
pretty decent.
10.
Pretty decent size.
And, I had an hour to speak. I spoke from 9 to 10. I went over to like 10:30, and I think only 3 people left after the time was up, and they actually waited another like 15 or 20 minutes before they left.
Wow.
And they wanted to interact. They were asking me questions, but they were all on point. They knew. So he's doing a great job because these people they didn't know about all the stuff. Like I was throwing stuff out there for them to research and stuff.
The one line I always tell people when they start doing that is, it's very simple, that when you say you go and you conspire to commit murder, the government charges you with a crime, conspiracy to commit murder. If you conspire to steal something, well, they can put you in jail for that too. But the moment that you flip it around on them and say you conspire to do harm against the citizens of this country, why, you're a tinfoil hatter. Why, you're batshit crazy.
He brought that up. He actually asked me to address that. He said, we were running short on time, and he said, I want to address the term conspiracy theory. And I said, well, it's really simple. I said, what's a theory? And they all just kind of looked at me. I said, and then they all kind of laughed, and somebody was like, an idea, and I said, basically, yes. It's like me postulating, that something happened because of something. For instance, I said, the theory of relativity. or gravity, I said, theories. And did Einstein get called a tinfoil hatter and pointed at and laughed at when he came up with the theory of relativity? Exactly. And they all chuckled and they were like, no. And I was like, great. So a theory, now we've established a theory isn't a bad thing. Now what's conspiracy? And then I did what, I pretty much said what you said. I broke it down how people are charged with conspiracy every day.
Yep.
So, basically a conspiracy theory is a theory that two or more people got together to do something bad. Well, that happens all the time. So how is that crazy and kooky? It's called word magic, ladies and gentlemen. And people buy into it every day. All right, we're going to break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right. I want to get into something. And Joe and I were discussing this off air before the show.
Are you going there?
Oh, dude, I'm going exactly where I went earlier. You heard me. I did. Pissed, right?
Yeah.
But it's justified, right?
Yeah.
You think what I'm about to show them is a little just completely. It's actually a great example of what Joe talks about at his show, what I've talked about here, what we've both talked about together, separately. How they use fear to control us.
It's total sensationalism.
Porn.
On a grandiose scale, and you know why they're doing it. It's like we all say, it's conditioning. That's what they want. They want people to be afraid of a faceless enemy. So enjoy this wonderful clip that Popeye's about to play for you.
It's disgusting. I'm going to play it and I'm going to stop it. Okay, this is MSNBC yesterday. I saw this. I stumbled across this today because, like I said, I've been super busy this past week doing interviews, the college, doing all this other stuff, cutting audio. So I come across this today when I finally get a chance to get caught up on, going through the videos I subscribe to, the channels on YouTube, going through. And I go to Mox News' channel. And I stumble across this little ditty from yesterday. Apparently, I'm doing air quotes when I say this, there was a bomb threat or a suspicious package down in the financial district down in New York.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, dun, dun, dun. Wall Street, World Trade Center, dun, dun, dun. 9/11 fear-mongering, dun, dun, dun. So apparently somebody must have ordered, who knows, somebody probably ordered one of those, complaint department things where it's a fake hand grenade and it says take a number.
Yeah.
Somebody probably ordered one of those. And
probably made of chocolate.
It could have been a friggin' Easter chocolate grenade,
exactly.
Soldier or something. Who knows?
It was probably a chocolate egg.
Idiots.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, dude, this is what I mean. They just overreact, right? And, well, it's better to be safe than sorry. No, it's
like
not.
That bad high school rumor, that starts off with, oh, man, Popeye's home with the flu, And by the time it gets to the 10th person, Popeye's got full-blown AIDS and he's on his deathbed.
Don't laugh. When I was growing up, when I was a kid, that kind of stuff happened, dude. When I went back home after being in the military and being gone for a couple years, I came back and people were like, "Oh my God, I heard he had cancer and I heard he had this." And I was just like, "No, I'm still alive."
Exactly. So it could be that too. Let's not demonize the NYPD.
I'm not demonizing them. They do a perfectly fine job on their own. They don't need my help.
Yes, they do.
It's idiots. Anyway, so it wasn't the NYPD though in this case. That obviously they're going to overreact. So I guess there was an overreaction from them too. But the thing is, I guess the mailroom in the building, they X-ray the packages, right?
Yeah.
So they X-ray the box, and I guess they see this grenade in there. So all of a sudden, dun, 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 it's all over the news, right? So Mox puts up the video footage for CNN and MSNBC. Now, I chose MSNBC's because it's more telling. CNN's, they just got caught with their pants down. The reporter wasn't there. She's doing a report from inside the van on her cell phone, and every time the idiot pundit on TV would say to her, "Hey, what do you see going on?" or what did they say about this? She has to respond to her with, "I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet." So CNN's trying to do this live breaking coverage with a reporter who's not even on scene. Mm-hmm. So that's one, but that was a joke. The reason I want to play MSNBC's is because of I'm going to expose the fear porn that I call it, because this just sent me over the goddamn edge when I heard this. Okay, when I was watching this, I flipped out. I lost it. Because I'm tired of this crap. And this is what they feed people on, and I'm tired of it. So if I can break it apart and rip it apart for you guys and show you how much crap it is, okay, then it'll be like lifting the veil off your eyes, and I hope it helps. I really do.
Hey, I got my popcorn and soda ready here, and I'm ready. I want to hear you tear it to shreds.
And by the way, MSNBC conveniently had a panel of people to discuss this, including the vice mayor of New York.
Fantastic.
Who just happens to be available for a panel discussion on an incident that's a nothing incident. And listen to how listen, I'll play it.
We are going to update you on some breaking news right now. Police say there is a suspicious package at 2 World Financial Center in Lower Manhattan. They say the building was evacuated as a precaution.
Dun, dun, dun.
Howard Wolfson, Deputy Mayor of New York City. Do you have any intel you can share with us?
Alex, police are investigating.
That's what it was, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, did you hear also? Do you have any intel?
Yeah. Do you have any intel? First of all, what's the Deputy Mayor doing there available for comment on this already?
But do you hear what she's saying? She says it like, do you have any intel? Like it's like this is already, it's almost like militarized news. Yes, because they're plugged in. Do you have any intel on this situation? Well, go in there and get them, boys.
Right? Over
like a chocolate egg.
This is only 17 seconds in. It gets worse.
A suspicious package at 2 World Financial Center. The building has been evacuated, and it's an ongoing situation. That's what I can tell you now.
In terms of New York City and, the remarkable job that the mayor has done, and certainly Ray Kelly has been very aggressive in.
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, so they start blowing Bloomberg right on it. Okay.
Yeah, he's a billionaire, Hey, maybe I get a piece.
He's done a remarkable job. He's done a remarkable job turning New York City into a police state.
Yes. Checkpoint Charlie.
It's New York City, the city itself is like a prison island, basically.
It is pretty bad, But it's getting bad everywhere, dude. It
is. Well, New York City is kind of like how London, how the UK uses London like the testing ground. New York City is where it starts.
Right. Yeah, they're progressing to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And Bloomberg's right on board with that. He is all about that.
Gun grabber himself.
That's it. Disarm the public, and we've got them by the cojones.
34 seconds in, and you can't even get a minute in without puking on this thing. It's
this is almost as bad as when Salenti got.
No. Oh, dude, no. This is going to be about the comparable to that show. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, here we go.
Fighting terror. It's almost like, as New Yorkers, actually, I think I'm the only New Yorker on this panel. Is there concern? There is concern that we get. Sorry, beyond you, obviously. Sorry, the bug dies. What are you talking about, Alex? Howard, there is the sense that we sometimes get lulled into a sense of false security, and moments like this are notable insofar as,
Oh, Jesus. I don't know, man. I'll tell you what.
Yes, you said, regardless of the outcome, it's a reminder of the fact. And what she's trying to say is, regardless of whether or not this is a real threat or it's promulgated, meaning it's fake, it's bullshit.
Manufactured.
Yeah, whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter. This serves as a good reminder why we need cops with machine guns all over the place and drones flying around.
We need to be forever vigilant. And please tell on your neighbor. Do that.
Say something.
He is enemy. That's right. And that's what it is. You remember there was a time when, your neighbor moved in or something like that. And, they exchanged like housewarming presents or whatever. Or, hey, have a little get together. You don't do that anymore. You're looking at your neighbor through the blinds. What are they doing now?
Somebody told me the other day, I forget who it was. Somebody I know, they had just moved in somewhere. I can't remember where they had moved in. Anyway, they had moved into like an older community, and they couldn't get past the fact that their neighbors around them were older, and rather than the neighbors looking through the blinds at them, they were bringing them pies and stuff and talking to them, and they were just completely shocked because they had assumed that the older people would have been like looking out the window at them with binoculars and stuff, and spying on them, And they weren't. These people were nice. They were very. They were friendly. They weren't standoffish like that. So, I was actually surprised myself because I was like, wow, they still do that. I was surprised they didn't send a SWAT team with the pie. All right, we're going to break, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to get back into this clip because I just want to tear it apart. So,
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Joe,
Keep it
get your
rolling.
popcorn and your...
Keep it rolling there, my friend.
Yes, here we go.
Police here do never get lulled into a false sense of security. I was over actually at Police Plaza this morning for a meeting. Was in a room with banks of TVs and monitors all over the city. This is a police department that is extremely well trained, extremely well responsive. These kinds of incidents, we know that New York is a top terror threat. Not saying that's at all what this is, but we know that there are threats that New York...
We're not saying that's what this is. But we're going to use this opportunity to try to scare the shit out of you as much as we possibly can, even though it's probably nothing real.
You know what that reminds me of, dude? It reminds me of that saying, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. That's exactly what he's saying.
I'm not saying, Joe. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
What did they call it in 1984? News speak?
No, newspeak.
Oh, newspeak. That's what it was. Newspeak. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. Unbelievable. We're not saying that this is terrorist related, but we want to scare you and freak you out. We want you to put off that fear vibe so we can control you, because you have to be afraid. Be afraid. Be afraid. This is fear porn. Brought to you by MSNBC, a GE company.
Faces. We obviously have a crime situation that we face as well. New York City is a very, very safe city, but we work really hard to keep it that way. And we have a lot of law enforcement that are dedicated to dealing with these kinds of threats on an ongoing basis, and they do an extraordinary job.
Do you think because New York City has been so effective thus far at holding off any sort of significant terror threat, that the networks have gotten more sophisticated? Have you, I mean, anecdotally?
Why are they bringing up terror? Why are they even? You see how they're going? They're not even. Was this just somebody ordering something and it?
Yeah, or it was a stupid joke, bro.
They had a whole panel. It wasn't even a joke. It was somebody, whatever. It was a toy grenade, whatever the case may be. They're not even covering the story. They've gone down the path of, whether or not this is a terrorist attack. Haven't these terrorist cells gotten very sophisticated? They're keeping the subject, the topic. They're keeping on the topic of terrorism.
They're right on the talking point. That's it.
Fear.
Yeah.
You hear that beat in the background? Fear. Be afraid. Be afraid. Be afraid. It's all bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be afraid. Do not buy into this crap.
No.
That's why I'm doing this, to show you that you shouldn't be afraid. This is ridiculous. Fear porn. Again, brought to you by MSNBC. GE. One of the biggest contractors in the military-industrial complex. Bringing you fear porn.
Is there anything you can share with us?
I'm sure this is true. The federal government faces this challenge significantly. Terrorists are always improvising. They're always watching what we do. And
yeah. Yeah, that's right. And so are we, because this is what we do, we're considered terrorists to them. And this is how they're going to market it, dude. This is how they're going to market it to everybody. So, I mean, just in their speak, you can see how terrorists has they paint it with such a broad brush.
Think about this, Joe. Why is the deputy mayor, Howard Wolfson, why is he on this panel? It's something in a box, which didn't even turn out to be anything. It's a toy. And that's the best part, because I'm going to play the whole clip. And at the very end, they come back with a break. We're going to go to break, and then they go to break and they cover other news. They kind of, they amp up the fear and then go to something else. And they come back and they go, oh, update, it was just a toy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice afternoon. And then that's it. Like 5 seconds of it was just a toy. And the rest of the, 7.5, almost 8-minute clip is all, be afraid, bin Laden, terrorists, bombs, Al-Qaeda, underwear bomber. Anything that they could throw in there, terrorism, any little catchphrase that they could throw in there. It gets worse.
What they do. And Ray Kelly will say we are always changing our tactics in response to new threats or the kinds of things that we are seeing in internet chat rooms or abroad. There are thousands of police officers in this city alone who are dedicated to dealing with terror threats. Again, not saying that's what this is. You've asked me the question. And
again, this isn't a terror threat, but we're going to spend 7.5 minutes talking about how this isn't a terror threat, yet we're going to tell you, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. There's terrorists out there that want to get you. They're in your sock drawer. They're in the closet. They're hiding under your bed. Ooh, be very afraid. When you take a shower, terrorists are under your sink. When you're out in your backyard playing catch with your son, there's terrorists.
That's right.
I mean, it's
Meanwhile, but there really
ridiculous.
are, dude. But there really are terrorists out there.
No, there are
It's
bad
just-
guys.
but it's not who they're saying it is. The real terrorists are the ones that just authorized 30,000 drones to fly overhead and watch you. That's the real terrorists.
real terrorists
the
that wanna
ones that
kill
are
you and
taxing
your
us
family.
into oblivion.
The ones that want to kill you and your family aren't wearing towels
Yeah,
on their head.
the
They're
ones that, soft kill you.
$10,000 suits.
Right, or the ones that want to soft kill you through vaccines and all that crap. Those are the terrorists. Yeah, they strike fear in a lot of people's hearts because of what they do and just the
Isn't
pure.
that what this is right here? I mean, this is considered terrorism, going on and making a huge mountain out of a molehill, along with an elected official here. You have the deputy mayor, or maybe he's not elected, maybe he's appointed, whatever. You have this, he doesn't matter, he's a public official, and he's going on using his public office as, a way to get on this, whatever network, or, obviously he didn't try to get on, they just bring it on. But again, the whole thing is suspicious, even as a side caveat, as to having a panel of 5 people on there to talk about a non-issue, a toy grenade. You see how they make the big deal out of it? Oh my God!
We live in a society, dude, where a lady goes to the McDonald's drive-thru, orders a hot coffee, spills it on her lap, and sues McDonald's because it's too hot. I mean, that's the country we live in now, and these people that actually live in this world,
that judge, first of all, that when I first heard,
but that's what
that
it is.
years ago, I said that judge should have thrown that friggin' case out.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
where you this case is thrown out. This is a waste of the court's time, and then he should have looked at the attorney that took the case, and he should have disbarred him right there on the spot.
Absolutely, and slapped him. And drawn and quartered him, and set his entrails on fire.
Everybody wants to call their attorney or call the cops now. Nobody wants to, oh my God, call the police. They'll take care of it. And then when the police show up, usually they exacerbate the situation because they're not coming. Old school cops used to come out, and there were ones that were dicks, but back in the day they used to de-escalate situations. Sure. Now they just roll up with their guns out, or tasers, and that's it.
That's it. And all it's going to do is make things worse. That's all it's going to do is like you say, it's going to escalate things.
Just handle your own business. Dude, I've told you this story before. When I worked in South Beach, okay, and I was running this tattoo shop down there, we called the first time we had a problem, and I was the manager. I was like, all right, I'll play nice. I'll do what they ask me. I'll just call the cops instead of doing it myself. I called the cops. Cops never showed up, and when they finally did, a couple hours later, they told us, just handle your own business and then call us to clean it up. No problem, dude. You want me to handle the business and then you come clean it up? I have that on your authority, huh? Yeah. Because they told us that they didn't, when they hear fight calls, they wait half hour to an hour before they even try to roll out because they don't want to get involved. They'd rather, clean up whatever's left. And hopefully, they said a lot of times we hope that the two people just leave and go their separate way and move on. Mm-hmm. So they don't even want to deal with it. So, okay, you don't want to deal with it? No problem. I'll do it my way. And that's exactly what I did. And word got around really fast of how we dealt with things at the tattoo shop. And a lot of the crackheads and drug dealers and scumbags, they stay
away.
Yeah, because they saw what would happen if you'd come up to a certain line. And when
it's a deterrent.
That was it. Okay,
it's a deterrent and an effective one. If they know that you're going to defend yourself, if you or somebody else, goes and attacks or does something to, like your tattoo shop, they're going to stay away, dude, because they're going to hit somebody that's more vulnerable. It's kind of like, a car. You remember the club? That thing you wrapped on the steering wheel and on the brake?
It's still around.
It's still around, right? Yeah, so the club. An auto thief sees 2 cars, one on the left without one with one. What do you think they're going to go after? They're going to go after the easy one.
They go after dude, John Stossel. He asked those guys in Rahway State Prison in Jersey when he did when he was doing the thing trying to show people that anti-gun laws were stupid and were, ineffective, gun control ineffective. And he asked them, what do you fear more? And they said, you know, do you fear gun laws? And they laughed. They said, no, we fear an armed homeowner. That's what they fear. Because
and as well they should.
Of course, they should fear it. All right, we're going to break. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Stop buying into the fear porn put out by the mainstream loser media. I mean, the other day, CNN actually let one of their pundits say the F word on air. I'm not kidding. They said the F word on air. Okay? I'm not surprised about the second thing they said on air. Of course, they would do that with all the race baiting. They would do it to piss off the just to get it out there and kind of stir up the pot. Not even to piss anybody off in general. That just kind of adds fuel to the fire. But they actually let their pundit say the F word on television, on live TV. Why would CNN do that? Oh, because they lost half their viewers, that's why. And because mainstream media sucks so bad that they have to resort to letting one of their pundits, one of their reporters talking to one of their little pundits actually swear and say the F word live. Now, you hear me swear and stuff once in a while, and occasionally I've said plenty of times that the F word's one of my favorite words in the entire dictionary.
Hey, man, we're sailors. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's a verb, a noun, an adjective.
Yeah.
It's out. It's just the way it goes. I cut back for the show because, I mean, if we wanted to, Jimmy could, turn off to the AM affiliates and stuff. He could turn off the antenna, and we could go buck wild. But I don't, because I know there are some people that do let their kids listen to the show. So although I do say shit sometimes, which is another one of my favorite words, you can say that on air now, really without any problems, depending on the context you use it in. Whereas the F word, you can't. Anyway, I'm digressing. The point is, they are such losers, and their ratings suck so bad because nobody
they're resorting to this
bull crap anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, go turn on CNN or MSNBC and tell me what you see all day. Nothing. You see crap. You see pretty much advertisements, video news releases put together by the Pentagon or certain pharmaceutical companies.
Let me just throw something in there real quick, and then you go to a place like RT where you have that's where you get like semi-decent news. Did you notice, I don't know if you have RT, but when I had Dish Network, I got RT. And they don't run a single commercial on their network from a company. It's all just inter-promotional, like cross-promoting shows and all that kind of stuff. But nothing.
They're funded by the Russian government, so
I know
they don't need to run.
They don't run anything. It's awesome.
They are. I mean, they are a tad bit pro-Russian, but like our news isn't pro-American, right? So, compared to foreign stuff. Although,
but it's in their best interest. It's in their best interest to tell people in America what's really going on.
But I don't see them. Wait. I don't see the mainstream having people like, I don't know, Susan Lindauer or what's his name from Architects and Engineers?
Richard Gage.
I mean, you don't see them having anybody they talk to. All their guests, like, I couldn't even. I don't want to name just 2 or 3 people because I'd be leaving out probably 100 equally as important or well-known people. The point is, they have people on that the mainstream media would completely ignore. So
yes,
it's just, I know where you're going with this. It's effed up that you have to go to Russian television to get the news that's really going on in your country.
Or even, what is it?
Press TV.
Iran.
Got banned.
Yeah.
Oh, they got banned because they're Iranian and they're showing propaganda, Popeye. No, that's not why they got banned. They got banned because they were showing things like war crime footage during Libya. Oh, you can't have that. And trust me, I know all about that. There was a well-coordinated campaign to take down Federal Jack and Obama's
Absolutely.
All because we were showing the beheading videos that Al-Qaeda was doing there, with our full support, mind you.
Al-Qaeda. I mean, just who do these people think we are, man? It just...
They think the general public, Joe, is so stupid that they can come up with this stuff and they can tell you that even though we're fighting Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, now I'm doing air quotes when I say that because we're really fighting the Taliban. I mean, Panetta admitted that there was something only like, I think 90 Al-Qaeda fighters in total in the entire country. And they were like, well, then who the hell are we fighting? And he was like, well, we're fighting the Taliban. You know, the Taliban, they're just as bad. They helped Al-Qaeda. And that's a misnomer, too. They did not. They flat out said, if you show us the evidence, we'll gladly hand him over to you and you could do whatever you want with him if he did it. But show us the evidence that he did it first. We're not just going to arbitrarily hand somebody over to you if we don't know if he did it. We wouldn't want to do that. You know, it's only fair. Yeah. And we told them no. And I'm not saying that these guys are great individuals or anything, but I'm telling you the story that you've been told is a lie. Right. I know guys that are like, man, we're fighting in Afghanistan, dude, because the Taliban attacked us on 9/11. And I was like, no, not one of those attackers even came from Afghanistan. Yes, they did. Their hideout was in Afghanistan. I'm like, look, I know that you think that Cobra Command is somewhere, okay, and that in there, Cobra Commander Destro and Osama bin Laden all plot, you know, against the world, and terrorism is their ultimate goal because they just want to blow stuff up. I was like, who benefits? You want to think about 9/11 for a second? Who benefits from 9/11, Joe?
Certainly not us.
People in the wait, but was it the Afghanis? Was it anybody in a cave or a tent?
Well, I mean,
over there benefit. I certainly don't think that anybody living in a tent, you know, with flip flops and nothing but sand around them, okay, and maybe a pet goat that they can give them some milk or something.
Yeah,
I don't think they were sitting around going, well, let's piss off the most powerful military machine. And
no. You know what, dude? Actually, 99.9% of the people on this planet just want to be left alone. That's it. It's this very, very small.
Who in their right mind would want to F with the United States knowing the response you're going to get? And there's so many people that are like, well, he just wanted to test us. No, don't play into your ego and your manhood like that.
Exactly.
You're playing up to your own childhood fantasies of, we're so awesome. Oh, why don't you just rub one out while you're thinking about the same story? I mean, it's retarded. Why would bin Laden, who, again, he's not Cobra Commander, he doesn't have Cobra Command inside of a cave somewhere where a dome opens up in the side of a hill, jets and shit fly out. This is what they have you believe. This is ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Remember the shootout? Remember the John Woo story when it first came out? I said to you, watch, they're going to have him jumping over his dialysis machine, slow motion Matrix style, as the bullets come by him, you know, and he's going to be dodging bullets. It's just ridiculous, man. Utterly and completely ridiculous. A 6'4" Arab on dialysis. That means he's got a freaking huge dialysis machine, I guess, with a 50-mile-long extension cord or a solar panel attached to the roof, okay? And he's pushing this around from cave to cave and running around, and him and his dialysis machine make it from Afghanistan to Pakistan, right? And then when they raid his place, go look at the videos, okay? They raid his place. Where's the dialysis machine? Nowhere.
Well, you know, man, the mundane details like that. Come on, Popeye.
How about even more mundane details that the power strips that are in the background are American power strips?
Yeah, or that the locals
power strips in Pakistan, America.
Locals saw them trucking the
three plug system that we.
Oh yeah, they don't use that. They use the other one.
How are they using that in Pakistan? Because that's what was hanging from the walls. Look at the power strips in the corner.
Isn't that interesting? But you know, and also they saw the locals saw them truck that freaking tail section in.
Movie set? Anyone? Bueller. SEAL Team 6 dies mysteriously. You know.
Yep, I know.
Couple 2 weeks later, and most of the SEALs, if you talk to people, like I know people in the military, Joe knows people in the military. You talk to anybody in the Special Forces community that's close to the SEAL community or in the SEAL community itself, they'll tell you they think that those guys were all whacked.
They were whacked.
They don't think it was by some Taliban jerk-off who got lucky with an RPG. Right. Ken came on my show not too long after that. He was a side gunner in a Chinook in Vietnam. And he'll tell you, you can't hit those choppers when they're flying that low unless they were sitting still, just hovering, waiting. And when those pilots are trained, when they fly low, they fly fast to avoid small arms fire. For that exact reason. And you're going to tell me some lucky jerk-off with an RPG, the most inaccurate piece of shit weapon ever invented. I mean, it's if you want to lob a grenade, but it's inaccurate. You ever watch one fire? They spin around. They have like a little spiral to them. They're kind of zigzaggy. They're not really accurate unless you're so close.
It's like one of those little Nerf footballs with the tail section on the end.
Jim, you can, once you're comfortable firing one, you can get somewhat accurate with it.
Oh yeah, sure, but I mean, not like that, and certainly not at that range.
Accurate as one would be led to believe.
No,
and
I mean that's a money shot.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to do it again since then.
Hey, mundane details again, my friend.
You can only get this. You can only pull this off once, and then, it's kind of like 9/11, how physics only gets defied on certain days, or when there's an accident and Princess Diana dies, the cameras don't work. Or hey, we happen to be changing the tapes out. Wasn't they doing that in Oklahoma City too? It just happened when the bomb went off, they were changing the tapes out.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it? How convenient. What a coincidence, as Tim would say.
Yeah. Well, I've told you what you can do a coincidence. You can it because I don't really believe in it.
Nor do I.
Things happen for a reason. Either there's an underlying connection that you don't know about, or it's blatant in your face and you just don't want to admit it. Either way, it's there. All right, hour one up, hour two coming up. Joe and I will finish tearing apart the fear porn from MSNBC, and then we'll get into a few other things. Stay tuned. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hoorah!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with hour number two here on tonight's edition of Down the Rabbit Hole. I am your host, Popeye from FederalJack.com. Riding shotgun with me tonight is my brother from another mother, Mr. Joe Joseph.
Yes, here I am.
See how I let my jersey come out there at the end? I said butter instead of mother.
Butter.
I had to throw that in there. I said mutter.
Mutter.
Yes, when somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, first hour, they said Popeye sounds like he's talking Italian for a minute or something to that effect. That's my inner Jersey that comes out. Even though I've been down in the South for years now, my inner Jersey comes out when I get pissed off. And
yeah,
I am a little perturbed tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because...
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. I sound very calm and mellow tonight, I know.
Yes, you do.
I'm a little pissed because the fear porn is just ridiculous. And I'm showing you an example from MSNBC. Joe and I have been tearing it apart. And it shows you how they just blatantly throw it in your face. Now, we've only gotten like 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it play a little bit, and then Joe and I can attack it instead of giving it 5 seconds of air. I'll let it play so it can finish, and then we can make fun of it.
Sounds good.
Otherwise, we'll never get finished with it because it's just that insane. It's like that Plandopolis video where we couldn't get 30 seconds into it because it was just so insane. Every 2 seconds you had to stop.
It's very difficult. Very difficult.
Yes. Very well. You'll see. When they just make it so blatantly obvious like this.
We take it very seriously, and it is an ongoing struggle to keep up with the kinds of threats that we face. And New York is one of those places that will always be under threat. The NYPD has stopped 14 different terrorist plots since.
Okay, show me the evidence, you liar. I had to stop it there. I'm sorry. Show me the evidence, you liar. Show me the evidence to back up the fact that you've, quote-unquote, stopped 14 real plots. And I don't mean things that you and the FBI work together.
Since when did they need evidence for anything, dude?
Stop 14 terrorist plots. You're a liar, okay? Deputy Mayor, you're a liar. I challenge you to bring out all of the evidence, and I mean in full detail, in triplicate, to the public about these, quote-unquote, 14 terror operations that you stopped. And I don't want to hear, well, the FBI, they caught this guy, with our help, and that includes us, so that's no. That just means that you worked with the FBI to set somebody up, just like they've been doing over the past few years, so that they can have a reason, an excuse for everybody to be scared of the boogeyman.
Because everybody that's been caught here lately have been infiltrated by the FBI already and had been pushed to that point by the FBI.
These guys. The underwear bomber, the Abdul Muttalib, the guy that tried lighting his underwear on fire, the stuff that he was trying to light was inert, so it wouldn't have exploded. So who gave him that? Well, it turns out that a State Department employee, he got him on the plane because everybody said, well, in Amsterdam, there's no security. And I called bullshit on that because I've been to Amsterdam multiple times, and I said that's a lie. I've been through Schiphol Airport, and I know for a fact that everybody goes up to the customs agent and one by one answers questions, and they gauge you. They look in your eyes. They look at your body language, okay? And then they stamp your passport and send you on your merry way. Now, I've gone through it. I know. So there is security. And then it came out, yeah, there is security there, but somebody from the State Department got him through the security line with no passport. But I'm supposed to believe that this is some terrorist hell-bent on taking down the United States because we have mini malls and SUVs. I mean, come on.
Listen, how ridiculous is it? And you know what's even more funny, dude?
If they hate us for our freedoms, how come they're not throwing ticker tape parades for us now? Because we don't have any more freedoms. So why are they not out in the street doing the Irish jig?
They're winning. I'll tell you what. If I truly believed that it was a terrorist from the Middle East or whatever, they'd be winning if the story was the way that the government sells it to you, because they've totally altered the way of life in this country and have totally given the powers that be the upper hand. And that's what gives you the indication of who's really behind it, who benefits from it. Is it the Muslim community? No, they don't benefit from it. They're vilified.
Exactly. The Muslim community itself doesn't benefit from it. Nobody in a tent in a foreign country that has any brown skin of any color benefited from it. Okay, none of these people benefited from it. The only people that I know that benefited from it were like KBR, Halliburton, Dick Cheney, the Bush administration. All these private contractors, military-industrial complex, the banks, people like the Rockefellers and the Rothschild family who
follow the money.
Yeah, that's who benefited. I don't recall Al-Qaeda having a party and saying, man, September 11th, yeehaw, that shit was the bomb, literally, boys. Man, we took down those towers. Man, we screwed everybody up. Yeah, they killed everybody. Their military came in and wiped us off the map, okay? All the original people that were around back in the day are pretty much dead. But hey, it was worth it. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. For real, sit back and think for a second. Who benefits? Who benefits? Does somebody in the Middle East really benefit from pissing off the most powerful military force in the world at the time and say, hey, man, I dare you to send your Marines in here. Do you really think they want to deal with our Marines? No. Do you really think that? Think about that for a second. Who in their right mind wants to say, go ahead, send in a platoon of Marines. I'm not scared. You don't think these people realize they're going to come carpet bomb the crap out of you?
You didn't say that in Arabic. I'm kind of disappointed.
You remember the little poll they took a couple years ago? I think it was like 2 years ago of the Afghan men, all the fighting age Afghan men, and they asked them if they showed them pictures of 9/11. Even guys that were in the Afghan military, supposedly on our side, they showed pictures of 9/11 and stuff. They had no idea what it was, Joe. Had no clue. They had no idea that they were attacked by Osama bin Laden and these guys that were housed supposedly in Afghanistan. They had no clue.
They don't care about that crap.
Guys, they only knew, they just know that there's a foreign invader in their country and that their family and their friends are getting blown up and their countrymen are getting blown up and they're tired of it. So they're standing up and doing something about it. That's what these people are doing. And the mainstream media would have everybody believe that these guys are plotting terror attacks. Well, let me tell you something. If there are people out there that do want to blow things up in the United States, you know what? We've pissed off a lot of them because we've killed their mothers. We've killed their sons. We've killed their wives, their daughters. We are all guilty because we still allow it to happen. Well, Popeye, we don't have any power. See? You're allowing it to happen there. By saying I can't do anything about it, and what am I supposed to do?
We have all the power. The people are the ones that wield the power. It's just that you're told a different story. you're sold a bill of goods, but really, you know, they're scared of you. They are trembling in their boots right now because they know that people are waking up at an exponential pace.
You think
But
the stormtroopers, dude?
Yeah.
If they weren't afraid of you, if they thought they were really better than you, and they really believed the shit that they spew out of their mouth at people, okay, then they wouldn't need bodyguards. If they were so big and bad and awesome and above all of us, they wouldn't need bodyguards, would they? You don't see me and Joe walking around with bodyguards, right?
No, but that's not the purpose, you know. They do this, you know, through force and everything else to make you submit or be submissive and intimidate the hell out of you.
Yeah, well, the more they do things like that, the less intimidated I am, the more irritated I get. It's not working. I don't buy into their fear, and neither should anybody else. Nobody should buy into their fear. They're projecting their fear onto everybody else, Joe, because they are deathly afraid. Deathly afraid. They are so scared right now, it's not even funny. They don't know what to do. They really don't. That's why they're panicking and freaking out and trying to pass bills to take away everybody's rights.
Absolutely. And fast, too. I mean, just look at how it's accelerated in the last 6 months.
Yeah, and they have to because they're afraid. Because they realize that people are waking up, and what's going to happen is people are going to realize that these douchebags are irrelevant.
Yes.
Simple as that. There will be no more fear because you're going to realize they're irrelevant. It's going to be like going from the 8-track to CD overnight without even going through cassette tape. Okay? I'm telling you. They are irrelevant, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break. All right. All right, we're getting back into this clip because we're running out of time and we'll never get the clip played. And you got to hear this.
Yeah.
I got to be able to expose this. So I'm going to shut up and I'll let it play for a minute.
It's 9/11. We've obviously been the victim twice, 9/11 and then in 1993. The terrorists only have to be right once. We have to be right all the time.
It's interesting, Alex.
I hate that line. Ugh, that's a Bush talking point. That's from his admin.
Yeah.
The terrorists only have to be right once. We have to be right all the time. So you can't have your rights.
How's that right, though? Because if we're right all the time and they're right once, don't we win out because we're right all the time?
Again.
I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. That's a definite Bushism.
Yes, both sides of the mouth. As the Indians used to say, they speak with forked tongue.
Defense, as great as the New York Police Department has become, the best defense is still citizen awareness, because they can't be everywhere. Citizens have to report to the authorities suspicious things that they see. If we don't do that, we're going to get caught one day, because as great as the New York Police Department is, they can't be everywhere.
NBC terrorism analyst Evan Coleman joins us.
So, wait a minute, I'll let her play, but see? So, if you don't report your neighbors, if, you think what they're doing is suspicious, although who are you to be the arbiter of what's suspicious and what's not suspicious?
Right.
Well, apparently they gave you the city gave them the power.
Do they offer rewards for that kind of stuff?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering if they give like a cash incentive to squeal on your neighbor.
There is like a crime thing that a tip line or something. I know back in the day used to, if it led to an arrest and a conviction or something, they gave you money for it. But this is part of that See Something, Say Something campaign, which we've already exposed to be a joke. Bob Tuskin and, I can't remember her name right now. JJ's had her on. Janet Flynn. Bob and Janet Flynn called up DHS, and I recorded it. I sat in the background. Actually, Bob did too. Pretty much it was just Janet Flynn. And we were trying to, help her get through the call screeners because she wasn't too good at getting past the call screeners. So we kind of coached her on what to say to get past them. And when she finally got in touch with an FBI agent, pretty much she said, well, I have information that you need to hear about the water supply and how it's vulnerable and blah, 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 which her information was accurate. And she's trying to give him the information. And the guy's like, well, ma'am, and this is the same thing that she was told by the secretary who answered or whoever it was, and what you'll get told when you dial the See Something, Say Something number, they tell you you should call your local authorities first, and then they'll contact us. And she's like, but I'm on the phone with you right now, so why shouldn't I call you? This is the See Something, Say Something hotline. And they were like, yeah, but you have to call your local authorities. And she's like, well, then why did I call this number? And I know Jones has done it on his show. Other people have done it as well. I know Bob's called on his show. you call up these numbers and you're like, hello. And they're like, yeah, we can't help you. You pretty much have to call your local police department. So I asked one time to the lady, I said, well, then why do we call you? And she's like, well, the Say Something hotline is an initiative. And I said, but it's an initiative that goes nowhere because what are you taking the initiative to do? Nothing. You answer the phone and tell me to call my local police department. Right. This is a complete waste of time. If this was an emergency, you would have wasted valuable time. I mean, it's a complete farce, but people see it and it looks official and they get scared by it. Okay, back to the clip.
On the phone, Evan, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Give us a little bit of your analysis of the situation, any information that you may have.
Well, it was milk chocolate. Yes, it was milk chocolate. Grenade-like, however, the intricate designs on the side of the chocolate egg, I could see how it would be easily mistaken for a grenade.
Caution. I would be careful about ascribing this to any kind of organized terrorist act or organization because, frankly, most of the organizations that we're dealing with, groups like Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, etc., they would be probably more sophisticated than sending a grenade in a package. Unfortunately, there are other people out there, and there's homegrown extremists out there.
There it is. That's what I was waiting for. Now, let's get the Hold on. We're going to start something. It's called the Homegrown Extremist Counter. Okay? We're going to count how many times they say homegrown extremist in this conversation. That's one. Here we go.
Who would like to make a statement, and what better way to make a statement than to, send something to the World Financial Center. We obviously know that after the, 9/11 terrorist attacks, this is an area that's under a tremendous amount of security. There's a tremendous amount of scrutiny, and certainly it's a great way of making a headline. But we'll have to see whether or not this really is a grenade. But I think, looking at least what the facts are right now, even if it is, quote unquote, a grenade in this package that's been discovered, it doesn't seem to be the work of an organized terrorist group. Most groups like Al-Qaeda are more sophisticated in this. And you can just look to the recent events. The last major attempt by Al-Qaeda to strike the U.S. with an explosive device involved a very sophisticated device that was hidden inside of mail packages sent from Yemen. But these were very, very sophisticated devices. This was not just a grenade. But like I said, unfortunately...
And by the way, that was the printer cartridge bomb that he was just referencing. That was proven to be bullshit as well.
There are homegrown extremists out there. There are people that...
That's two.
The headline.
Number two.
This is what this is.
And Howard, certainly when you talk about terrorism and terrorist tactics in the 21st century, post 9/11, the idea of the lone wolf is something that's banned.
Here we go, lone
wolf. Have some.
Which means homegrown terrorism, so that's three.
About a lot, and preventing a lone wolf from acting seems like
four.
Almost catching a needle in a haystack to some degree.
Well, that's certainly the case, and I think in a situation like this, the property managers and the NYPD are correct to act out of an abundance of caution. If a grenade is sent, or what appears to be a grenade is sent into a building, the appropriate thing to do in the world we live in is to evacuate the building and make sure that there are not other threats that the folks who work there are facing.
Joining us on the phone now is WNBC Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dienst. Jonathan, thanks for joining us.
Sure, good to be with you.
Jonathan, do you have any information on this situation that you might share with us? We're hearing that there may or may not be a grenade or a grenade-like object in a package at to World Financial Center. The building has been evacuated. Do you have anything else you might share with us?
Yeah, well, we've been told it's a partial evacuation of the building there, and that it was a package that it appears to be that was mailed to this building that houses some of the Wall Street banks down near Ground Zero. It's across the street, the World Financial Center. And it does appear, based on the screening, the initial screening of this package, that there is a grenade-like device inside. It is unclear if it is inert or real, but after emergency service cops took a look, they called in the bomb squad. So now the NYPD bomb squad is on scene, carefully going over this package to see whether it's a real device.
Right, and they're going to be like, you're all a bunch of douchebags for wasting our time because this thing is not real whatsoever at all. We only have about a minute before we go to the break, so I'm going to hold off, and I'll play like the last. There's a little bit over a minute left, so we'll finish it up going into the next segment, and then we can just tear it apart and get into other stuff. But the end is the kicker. It's my favorite, Joe. Now, you've heard all of this, the fear porn, okay? You've heard it. You've listened to 3/4 of the clip. You've heard most of this pumping out of be afraid, lone wolf, terror, homegrown terror, coming to get you, Ron Paul supporter, terrorism, sovereign citizen, must kill, death, fear. I mean, that's where they were going. Obviously, they didn't say Ron Paul or sovereign citizen. I was just throwing that in there for dramatic effect.
No, but you know what? I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, they tie into it. I should say dramatic effect. I was just throwing it in there because, I mean, they blame everybody. You have a Ron Paul bumper sticker or, don't tread on me sticker on your car, and all of a sudden you're a friggin' terrorist. It's insane. But you can steal billions of dollars from the country and rape little boys and little girls and, do disgusting, perverted things and be just an all-out pedophile. And, hey, you're just a good old guy. We live in bizarro world, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
And they also have the FBI JTTF members on scene to help in the investigation in case this is any sort of real threat. Now, a cautionary note, we all know there are lots of inert grenades out there, and we've seen cases like this in this city before where a fake grenade or an inert grenade has been sent as some sort of hoax or threat. So that is always a possibility, but as a precaution, there is a partial evacuation of the building there as a result of this package with what appears to be a grenade-like device inside. Again, unclear if it's real or inert. NYPD bomb squad on scene.
Jonathan Dienst, thank you for the intel and the information, sir. We will obviously.
Boy, I guess I shouldn't have placed that order from cheaper than dirt for that inert grenade and had it sent to my desk at work.
Now this is where the funny part is, because there's only about 20 seconds left. So they do like closing thing, and then they go out to another story, and then when they come back, listen to what she says. Now you just heard like 7 minutes, between like almost 7 minutes and 20 seconds basically of just fear porn. Just be afraid, even though we don't know if this is a terrorist plot. There could be terrorists in your underwear drawer, so you must be afraid. We need more cops. We need loss of civil liberties. Blah 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 blah. Now listen to this.
Hours to come. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more. You have the sound. An update on the breaking news we were following. The NYPD now confirms that the suspicious device, found at 2 World Financial Center in Lower Manhattan was a novelty grenade. Police say evacuees will be allowed back inside shortly.
And that's it.
What crazy crap is that, dude?
But wait, that's it. That was the end of it. That was the end. That was how they ended it. So 7 minutes of scaring the shit out of everybody, or attempting to, and then 10 seconds of, by the way, it wasn't real, and she couldn't even get it out. You notice how she couldn't even get it out without laughing?
Yeah.
She stumbled through it because obviously she even realizes this is just insane.
I don't think she does. I think she's just a moron.
Well, Matt, that too. She could be an idiot, but even but I'm just saying it's so insane that even the bumbling tart that's reading the cue cards can't even get through it. And people will be like, "Oh my God, I saw on MSNBC today. I'm in my closet, honey. Come home from work. I'm in the closet. There were terrorists, 2,000 miles away. There was a suspicious package that someone got in the mail." People. For real?
Well, hey, man, fear porn, you get the numbers up a little bit. People are kind of paying attention, right?
They'll do anything for numbers.
So they do. They went from like 7 to 12 people watching, I'm sure, during that.
My website, federaljack.com, gets more hits than Chris Matthews' website does. Okay? And he's like one of their biggest loudmouth morons on the network.
But wait a minute. Stop and just think about what you just said.
I know. It's an ad hominem attack. Shouldn't.
No, but Chris Matthews, who in their right mind would want to go to his website anyway?
I don't know.
That's really not saying much.
Dude, there are people that are like, man, did you see O'Reilly last night? He was on fire. O'Reilly's a douchebag. I would love to take him on. I would love it. I would do it on his stage, and I would let that 6'5", 6'6", he's got me by like a foot. I would let him get in my face, and I'd laugh. Okay? He wouldn't intimidate me. I've heard stories, and I've seen the footage of how he gets in people's faces, but people that I know people that have been on there, and I've, through them, I've heard the stories, and I know it's kind of hearsay, but again, when you hear it from the same type of thing from 10 different angles, and you've seen him wig out on video and stuff, you just know he tries to be intimidating. I would love to go on that douchebag show. I'd put my finger up in his face, and I'd be like, look, you Mick bastard, if you don't step off.
That's right, bring like a step stool with you.
I'd smack him right in his mouth, right on his show, dude.
That's right.
Right across the mouth and be like, shut your mouth, don't interrupt me and disrespect me while I'm talking.
Dude, would you do that? I want you to do that with a squinty eye, a sailor cap, and a corncob pipe. Dude, and videotape that.
I would, too. If you don't think I wouldn't do it. Don't smack him right across the mouth if you start talking.
Bill O'Reilly, ho!
I would spit in Chris Matthews' face. I'd love to spit in his face. I'd love it. I know. Oh, Popeye, I have more respect for you than that.
I know. You're an outside.
No, I would like to smack him across the face because these guys are all fear porn peddlers. And as far as I'm concerned, they're just as friggin' guilty as they're the people that they work for. I don't care if they're just minions. Just following orders does not fall, it does not fly with me. It does not fall under the, oh, that's okay, we'll forgive you category. Wrong. I'm just tired of it, man. And this fear porn crap, Joe, is out of control.
Tell me something then. Give me a host on any of the mainstream shows that you wouldn't spit in their face.
Well, the only one that I had, the last one I had respect for, got fired. So
that doesn't. So none, right? You'd spit in everybody's face.
Geraldo's a douche. I have no use for him either. I don't care if he went on Napolitano's show and was like, "Well, there are questions." I don't care. You think that exonerates him for all the other douches?
He was just blowing Napolitano. That's all he was doing.
Geraldo's a douche. He's in with the rest of them. Garbage. Right. So no, I don't have any respect for any of them. None. I don't watch the mainstream media. The only time I ever watch any of this stuff is so I could break it down for the listeners and show them how insane that this stuff is. That's the only time I watch this stuff. I can't watch mainstream media. When I was at the college the other night, I asked the class, I said, can you guys watch mainstream media? And they were like, no. I said, it's funny, right? Now you guys watch it and you just see how insane the stuff is that they try to feed you.
Oh, yeah.
But before that, before they were awake, I'm willing to bet that they would have been like, or at least most of them would have been like anybody else and said, okay, it's on the news. Once you realize, once you understand things as they are and you see reality, you go back and you look at what they try to tell you is reality, and it's absurd. And I mean, now there's not even any thought put into it. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was more effort. They think that the general public, and they are right to a certain degree, they think that they're so dumbed down, they know they're so dumbed down, that a majority of the people won't even realize what's right in front of their face. I mean, that's why they don't care anymore, Joe. They just simply don't care. There's not even trying to hide anymore. 20 years ago, they used to try to hide when they did things. Now it's just like they're pretty much pulling their dick out on live TV and waving it in your face. And everybody's like, yay, politicians, come save us, because I don't want to take any personal responsibility and take care of anything myself. That's what this is about. If everybody just started taking care of their own stuff and taking responsibility for things that they did instead of trying to take what they don't like about themselves and project it onto other people and then attack it, if you would just take care of your own business, we wouldn't have this problem.
But a lot of people don't, not only do they not have the drive anymore because the hole that we have to dig ourselves out of right now, dude, is so massive. Absolutely massive, because even if you fix the problems with government, you still have so many people that don't know how to survive on their own. I mean, how many millions of people in this country alone, dude?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Again, personal responsibility. Right. Saying
it's an epidemic.
Exactly. It starts with the small stuff, and then it just goes through everything in your life. I live in an apartment. Right? I don't own a house yet. I live in an apartment. If something breaks, we have maintenance. But you know what? I'm a handy guy. I was an engineer. I did damage control. Damage control, man. We fix everything.
Smoking oakum. Yes. Matey.
I could, pretty much repair whatever. Plus, before that, I went to school for diesel mechanics. I was an auto mechanic. So I know what I'm doing. I don't like to wait for other people to come fix my stuff. I have maintenance. I can call them and they'll come, it take like 2 or 3 days. Within 2 or 3 days, they'll come fix it. If I can fix it myself and I have the ability with what tools I have and whatever I have around me, and it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg, I'll do it myself. I'm not going to wait for somebody to come do it. Certain things, because I pay rent, yeah, you're going to come fix. And I make them do it because I pay rent, and I get on their ass about it because I pay them rent. I remind them, just because I live in your apartment, you need me. You want my money? Then you're gonna earn it. You're gonna do what you got to do. But the point is, I don't like to even wait for them. I'd rather do it myself. I hang shelves. If I have my wife wanted shelves, I went to Home Depot, picked up the shelves, and hung them for her. That's how it works. Okay. You know how many guys don't know how to do that, Joe? It blows my mind when I find out. When I used to work, I told you when I used to tow AAA. Guys couldn't change tires. There'd be more women in skirts with their, putting runs in their.
Well, that's it. And that's what you get in the population centers. But come on out to the country and you show me somebody that can't change a tire out here.
Big cities. It's much different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to break. Stay tuned. Final segment coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Final segment for this Friday, the 13th episode. April 13th. That's what happens when you turn on mainstream media. That's what you hear.
That's right.
They want you to be afraid, Joe. Be very afraid of the boogeyman.
I ain't scared.
Ridiculous. I hope that tonight the absurdity of the mainstream media was exposed and shown. I mean, look, let's be honest. You can't, this is reality. This is how insane the stuff is that they want you to believe. It'd be like if I said to you, what color's the sky? And you said, well, Popeye, it's blue. I said, no, it's not blue, man. It's purple with yellow polka dots. And you said, no, it's clearly blue. There's some clouds in there, but I don't see any polka dots, and I don't know how you could say it's purple. And I go, look, man, it is purple with yellow polka dots. And if you don't see that, then you're an effing terrorist and you want to kill people. And that's the insanity of this. That's what they're saying to you. I mean, look, Homeland Security raiding a place for illegal hair straighteners. Who'd you save? ICE is out there. They're all vested up with guns on their hips. They're all walking around with their tactical thigh holsters on like they're badasses.
Yeah.
You're all a bunch of pussies. Every single one of you.
Every
and I would
single
tell
one
it
of
to your
them.
face. You're all a bunch of pussies. You need a badge and a gun strapped to your hip to think you're a big man. I'm the law. I'm Johnny Law. And what are you arresting? People with quote-unquote illegal hair straighteners? What the hell is an illegal hair straightener anyway? Is there that much of an illegal hair straightener business?
Yeah, apparently, dude. Apparently.
I mean,
who knew? Who knew?
Isn't Department of Homeland Security, though, supposed to be worried about terrorism? Because that's what
they do have their curler directorate.
Oh, now they have the green police too, Joe.
And the green police, yes. To go along with the blue and the purple.
Yeah, they can stick their green police right up there, as Ken would say, chocolate whiz wing.
Right in the bacon ring.
Yeah, there is green police. Who? What are they going to do? Start going around, oh my God, you don't have fluorescent light bulbs in your house, like in that commercial, the Audi commercial. They're arresting the guy because he doesn't have the cancer-causing light bulbs in his. They're like, is this your house with a regular light bulb? He's like, yes. They're like, come with us, sir. Or the guy at the register, he's like, she's like, paper or plastic? And he's like, plastic, I guess. And then the cop comes over and he's like, not today, dirtbag. And he puts him face first on the. Yeah, you're a tough guy. I take out dirtbags. Yeah, you're cool. Do you go home and jerk off looking in the mirror, telling yourself how awesome you are?
Yes.
You got to be, if so, you might be a TSA agent or you might, a DHS agent. It just sickens me. And, there are good people that work for these organizations that have no idea what's going on because they're compartmentalized and they're just caught up in that culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That culture itself is almost like a form of brainwashing because you just.
Oh, yeah, you're into it, man.
Oh.
You are into it.
You don't even realize it, and you just get sucked up into it. And then, obviously, as some people wake up, they have their own epiphany or whatever. But I know guys that have quit, being police or, quit whatever agency they worked for or whatever. And they've, it's always been whenever I talk to them about it, they've always told me that they realized what was going on. And, I know a guy, he quit the CIA. When I asked him why he quit, he told me, and I quote, "I quit the day they turned the satellites from facing outward to facing inward."
Wow.
And then he looked at me and said, "Are you getting what I'm trying to tell you?" And I said, "Oh, I get you. Roger. 10-4. I understand. Better than you could ever even possibly know, dude." There's a lot of people that are awake, but not everybody's bad. But as a whole, look, I compare Homeland Security. That's why I made that logo with the where it looks like there's a swastika behind the Homeland Security emblem. And why did I do that? I did it because they remind me of the SS, of the Schutzstaffel. That's who the Homeland Security reminds me of, and all their little umbrella agencies. They all remind me of, the SS. Or if you want, you can even add the Gestapo to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, people, I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand. It's like a term, an expression. I get frustrated, I should say, because it's like you see people that are so intelligent and so smart, and they mean so well, and if they only knew, if they could only comprehend or allow it in, like the amount of good that they could do, and it just frustrating. It's like Bill Cooper said, it's one of the most frustrating things. I think he said, he put it, you don't understand the burden it is that I have to have all this knowledge and to try to get it out to people. And people just, it's like talking to a brick wall. Sometimes they just, dude, I've run into people. I had a conversation via Facebook comment the other day with some guy. He made a comment about 9/11 truthers. I'll use a label, 9/11 truthers. Basically, anybody that says 9/11 was, done other than the way the government says it was.
Right.
We're all loons. We're all flipping loons, quote unquote. Right. And I said, "Why are we loons?" And he said, "Well, I was in the Navy. I have shipboard firefighting experience, and that they burn. That's the way things burn, and metal burns hot, and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, dude, I kept dropping information, not like being an idiot about it. I was very informative, like typing up, even getting stuff off of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, dropping links, everything, videos. It couldn't respond with any evidence, only responded with, "Oh, you need help, you're a mental nutcase." And just straight up like one line ad hominem attacks. So I said, "Look, I challenge you to do the research." And he says, and his response was, "I challenge you to get mental help." So, that's the mental level a lot of these people are at, Joe. They're just, and I said to him, it finally came out. He said, I won't believe I'll never look into it. And he said, if I, for 1 minute, had a thought that the government would do something like that, I would research it, but I won't do any research into it because I don't think the government would ever do that. So there you go. He's ending it by telling you, without even doing the research, like, dude, here's evidence. Oh, I don't want to read the evidence. I don't believe the government would do that. He's sticking his head in the sand. He's being willfully ignorant.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to believe that, because it would rock his belief system too much. Mm-hmm. Pathetic. Utterly pathetic. And it's sad. It's very sad. You'd rather watch some bullshit that the mainstream media would pump out, whether it's news or, what they call news, video news releases, or Dancing with the Stars or The Biggest Loser or whatever other, brain-deadening show that they're going to broadcast this week. And you'd rather watch that than actually hear somebody come across and give you real, honest information. It amazes me how people would rather live in their fantasy delusional world than find out the truth because it rocks their world too much. How selfish of you. How selfish of you. How ignorant. That is so selfish and ignorant and arrogant. I have no respect for any of you that do that. None. Letting little kids die every day because you refuse to believe it. Get over yourself. You make me sick. Disgusting, pathetic excuse for a man. So pissed off. And it's not directed at one individual. I should rephrase that. Disgusting excuse for humans. Because I don't want to just label one person or narrow it down to one person. People shouldn't believe and try to defend a government that you don't even have any knowledge about what they've done. I tried to say to this guy, I was like, look, dude, the highest form of ignorance is to dismiss something you have absolutely no idea about. Didn't want to hear it. This one guy kept attacking me. Now, other people disagreed with me, but they were respectful about it. And I totally respected, their opinion. But this one person had to be a disrespectful putz because his best argument back was an ad hominem attack. Logical fallacy because he didn't have an argument. And that's what happens. So I decided to chastise him for the last few seconds. But it's not again, it's not just him. It's everybody that takes that attitude. How dare any of you sit back while these innocent kids get blown to smithereens and killed, and nobody does anything about it? But you want to act like holy roly Christians or whatever other friggin' religion you're part of. It's all bullshit. Oh, I go to church on Sunday, so all my sins are absolved. Bullshit. Karma is an MFer, and you're going to have to pay one day for letting this stuff go on if you knew about it and decided not to do anything. Willful ignorance is horrible, okay? And karma is a bitch.
Biatch.
I'm just fired up tonight. All right, we got about a minute left. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to contact me, feel free. Contact DTRH. Contact Delta Tango Romeo Hotel at yahoo.com. Contact DTRH at yahoo.com. Don't forget to tune in Sunday. Steve Stars and I are doing a Titanic special, 100-year anniversary. Going to bring out some new evidence that we've uncovered in the past year of going over this. Some of this stuff dates back to the sinking itself that we're going to talk about. So, Joe, thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune into Joe's show, too, because Joe has a awesome lineup coming up. Joe, what's coming on Sunday?
Got my brother coming on, who's he just recently was enlightened to that 9/11 didn't happen the way the government says it did. And he credits Jason Burmis and Loose Change for helping him understand. So what better way to discuss 9/11 than with Jason Burmis and my newly awakened brother. So we'll have that on my show following Popeye's show on Sunday evening. Awesome.
Well, Joe, thanks again for hanging out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. Love you all. Research, research, research. Knowledge is power. No fear. We're out.